Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tech Showdown. My name is Kevin, and today we're going to be looking at the Mad Catz R.A.T TE, or Tournament Edition, gaming mouse. Now don't worry, there's going to be more GPU reviews very soon. Those of you with a keen eye will have seen that I have the MSI Gaming 4G GTX 970 back in my system. So there's going to be more videos featuring that. The 980, I'm going to try to get you guys a Asus Strix, either 970 or 980. And what else? G-Sync. G-Sync. Yeah. So, good videos coming up soon. So subscribe if you haven't already have already. Alright, so now let's get into this gaming mouse. And we'll start off with the key specs with it. So it comes with a 8200 Philips Doppler laser sensor in it with 4 customizable DPI settings. So to adjust the DPI, you can see on the side it has 4 lights, and it lights up more, and you can just adjust it with the up and down button behind the mouse scroll wheel. It has 9 programmable buttons, including an aim button, so that's good for all you FPS gamers out there. It has adjustable liftoff height, which is always nice to see because a lot of people have problems with that. It's 90 grams excluding the cable, so very light, and it has a braided cable, which is always nice to see and kind of to be expected on a more high-end gaming mouse such as this one. Now looks wise, if you're looking for a minimalistic mouse, then I'd look somewhere else. This is very aggressively styled, and I would say it's a very bare bones looking skeletal type mouse. It just seems like they've taken out all the stuff that you didn't need in terms of ergonomics or functionality and just left what was necessary. Now it's entirely made out of plastic, but the build quality still feels pretty solid. Yeah, it didn't feel badly built at all to me. And it's, as I said earlier, very light, which is also good to have. Now it's only for right-handed people. You wouldn't be able to use it if you were left-handed. And personally, I really like these styles of mouses. It's more of like a statement. I really like it, so I like the look of it, and yeah, I thought it looked really good. Now, comfort-wise, I found this to be very ergonomic, and the thumb rest on the left-hand side, how it kind of flays out a little bit, that was really nice to have. It was very comfortable. The buttons are flat completely, so that's nice. They don't taper off or anything like that. So that made them very easy to rest your fingers on. And it kind of looks like it might be a bit too wide, but it sucks in a bit in the sides quite a bit, so it actually doesn't feel wide at all, and I didn't think it was that bad. But the perfect part about it is the adjustable palm rest on the back. So you push in a little lever in the back, and then you can just pull the palm rest down to extend it. And you can extend it down quite far to make the mouse quite a bit longer. It actually, when you go from it in its shortest form to its longest form, it actually feels very different. It actually feels like a completely different mouse. And you can set it up however you want, so it perfectly fits your hand. So smaller people, you can just leave it how it comes, and people with larger hands like me will want to extend it out. I didn't like it extended all the way out, but about 3/4 of the way. That was perfect for my hands. The only problem with that I have to mention is with it fully extended, it is quite long, the mouse, and because it is quite light and most of the weight is in the center of the mouse, if you push down quite hard, if you're resting quite a lot of weight on your palm, it can actually lift up the front of the mouse. So it can kind of lift it off a little bit, which might not be good. And a few people have been complaining about that, but personally that never happened to me. Might just be the way I grip the mouse. Now, accuracy and sensitivity. So we're talking about the sensor. The sensor in this, the Philips Doppler 8200 DPI or CPI sensor, is fantastic. It's probably the best or one of the best that I have personally ever used. The G502 had a great sensor, and I really loved that. This is better. The SteelSeries Sensei has a great sensor also, and it's close, but I'd probably say this one is better than the Sensei sensor as well. There's so much adjustability. It's really good. It just feels so solid and accurate to use. So I really liked it. It probably is the best one I have ever used. Now to the scroll wheel and buttons. So the scroll wheel is perfect. There's no other way I can put it. It is just the best one I've ever used. It's just perfect. Perfect. Logitech, please just learn a lesson. That G502 scroll wheel was just, this one, it has no adjust, it's just a normal scroll wheel, just scrolls like normal, but it's the perfect sort of grippiness, size, and resistance, sort of bumpiness. It's just perfect. Now the buttons, the left and right mouse buttons were really good. Very clicky, they're heavy enough so you can really feel like you have to click. They feel very predictable to use. Oh, sorry. The DPI button, if you're just using it for DPI, obviously it's going to do just fine. If you program for something else, it might not be that good. It's in kind of a bit of a weird position, being quite far back, so I don't really know how good that one is. The forward and back buttons on the left hand side, these are good and bad. They've made them very slim and small to kind of get them out of your way when you're just holding it normally, so you don't accidentally hit them. And I never accidentally did, so that's really good. But they are quite small, so using them for a game or something could take a little bit of getting used to, and they're quite close together. The aim button on the side is quite large, so that's really good. It's more of an oversized aim button. Depending on how far you have the wrist rest extended, it can be a little bit hard to reach, say if you had it extended quite far, but I would only recommend extending the wrist rest if you have larger hands. So yeah, it wouldn't be a good idea for people with smaller hands to extend it, because you actually might not be able to reach that aim button. Aside from that though, overall pretty good, and for the main stuff that you're going to be using, which is the scroll wheel and obviously the right mouse click, it did it absolutely fantastically. Now it has there's Mad Catz desktop app software, which was, I'm not going to get into it too much, but I just thought it was pretty clunky, but software can always be upgraded, so that's fine. And we're just going to round this one out. So, I didn't compare this to anything. For one, I didn't get anything else with this, so I just wanted to tell you guys about this one. And two, I wasn't actually expecting it to be as good as it was, if I'm completely honest. Usually when I'm given a product I know nothing about, and I'm just it's handed to me by Playtech, who gave me this one to use. I always hope that it's good, but my expectations are usually not that high. So that's why I'm always surprised, so that's the one good thing. It is probably the most expensive gaming mouse I've tested. I believe it's coming in at Playtech right now. I haven't checked today, but I think it was around 150 New Zealand dollars. Obviously prices are different where you are, but it's, you know, say a Logitech G502, which is kind of unfair to compare it to, but I tend to go back to it, is about half the price in New Zealand, around half. So we have to keep that in mind. But it is probably the best gaming mouse I have used so far. I can be pretty happy in saying that. Just the adjustability is great. Yeah, if we're just forgetting cost, it's just fantastic. It was very hard for me to think of something that this does wrong, and that just shows if a product's good, because I can usually find something wrong with anything. Any product that I use, there's not much that is flawless. If they improved the software, it probably would be a lot better, and if they revise some of the additional buttons in terms of just maybe their placement and size, it might be a little bit better. It's not that they're bad, but they could be a tiny bit better, so that's about the only thing. But when we compare it cost-wise, I compare it to the G502 because they both have excellent sensors in them. So if you're just looking for a great gaming mouse that has an excellent sensor in it, then it's going to be hard to justify the extra cost of getting the R.A.T over the G502. So if that's the case, if you just want a really good sensor, I'd probably recommend the G502 is very good, and also the Sensei Roar is also quite good in that sense, and just it has a really good sensor in it. Aside from that though, overall it's a better mouse than the G502 and the Sensei in terms of more adjustability. It looks a lot better in my personal opinion, and the scroll wheel and all the other buttons are absolutely fantastic compared to the other ones. So I personally think it's a much better mouse than those other two, but yes, it is coming in at a much higher cost. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you all next time.